Hello everyone, this is part 14 of What If Naruto Was the King of Gambling, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. I'll be watching you, Naruto-kun, descendant of Senju Hashirama. Naruto shot up in his bed, 3 weeks after the battle in Am. What the F? He shouted, shocking his 3 fiancés awake. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Kurenai asked with wide eyes. I can't get that masked guy out of my head. Naruto exclaimed, his eyes screwed shut. How the hell did he just appear like that? And why didn't he kill me there? Naruto-kun, don't think about that now, Anko said tiredly. Go back to sleep. Naruto sighed, before laying back down. That bastard probably knew that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, he muttered as his 3 fiancés laid back down as well. The Hokage Monument. Uzumaki Naruto, the masked man mumbled as he sat on the Shodai's head. He chuckled. I'm sure you would have been proud of him, Hashi. I wonder if he'll be able to do what you failed to do. To have become this strong without even realizing that his bloodline is active. You there? Came a voice from behind him, making him turn around to see a team of 5 ANBUs staring at him. Yes, who are you? You are clearly not a citizen of Konoha. The masked man chuckled as he stood up. Me. I'm one of the first citizens of Konoha, he said and disappeared, reappearing behind the Anbu team. I am Uchiha Madara. And with that, he disappeared, leaving a team of decapitated ANBUs behind. A few days later, Naruto was sitting inside the woods, writing in a book, using his scroll as a makeshift chair. The title of the book was, The Rise of the Lucky Ninja. He was just coming out of Rice, and had taken over Jiraiya's spy network there, coming into contact with the leader of the Fuma clan. I wonder, Naruto mumbled, leaning back to stare at the sky. Masks. Kakashi wears a mask. He's strong. Anbu wear masks, and they're strong. How strong was that mask? He muttered to himself, before scoffing, grabbing the sake bottle hanging from his waist. Bah, I can't think. He heard something creaking, and quickly spun around, only to find no one. What the hell? He asked, blinking as he stared into the woods. Shaking his head, he turned back, took a sip of sake and continued his writing. Senku, the elemental hero. Sounds good, came the playful voice of the mask, making Naruto turn around again, only to find the Akatsuki playing with a Naruto chibi doll. Strange. You come in doll form. Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to get one of these? I had to body check an old lady and light a lady's skirt on fire. Yeah, I know. I had to tackle 3 old ladies in order to get one for each of my fiancés. Naruto said calmly, though he didn't drop his guard. Who are you? My name is not important, Senju Naruto, the man said playfully. But if you have to call me something, I guess you can call me Toby. Alright, what do you want with me, Toby? Oh, I wanna play a little, Toby said, obviously grinning behind his mask as he reached into his coat, taking out a doll, which looked like a homemade Toby doll. The game is called Stop Konoha's Destruction, he said, making Naruto's eyes widen. Toby started playing with the dolls, having them fight each other. The hero of the story, that's you, will try to stop the enemy, that's me, from destroying Konoha. However, when the game starts, I decide. It could start right now, and it could start in 10 years. It all depends on one thing. Naruto narrowed his eyes. He took out his fan and flicked it open. And that is, it depends on whether or not I'm in the mood. Naruto blinked. Well, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it? Toby asked, laughing. Well, I won't keep you from working on your masterpiece anymore. But remember, I'll be watching you, he said, before vanishing. Naruto blinked, staring at the spot where Toby had once stood, before getting up, pocketing his book and pen, and picking up his scroll, slinging it diagonally across his back. He sniffed around, trying to find Toby's scent, only to find that the trail stopped where it started. Damn it, he muttered, before looking east. Well, Iwa is next, I guess. He started walking, only having one thing on his mind. Masks, masks. What I wouldn't give to destroy all the masks. Toby, you're driving me insane. I never thought I'd loathe something orange with a swirl on it. Some time later, Naruto was sitting by a river, thinking about Toby. Who was he? Where was he from? Why was he wearing that mask? He sighed, dabbing his forehead with a piece of wet cloth. Damn it, he exclaimed as he laid down, putting his hands behind his head. I should be gambling right now, not thinking about a stupid, childish, mask-wearing, stupid, wait, I already said that. Insane. I shouldn't be thinking about a stupid, childish, mask-wearing, insane guy like Toby. He sighed again and sat up, deciding to meditate a little to clear his mind. That wasn't so easy, since he could only think about his fiancées, booze, cards and orange swirl masks. I kinda miss QB. It's so quiet in my head now. He took a deep breath, and focused on his chakra. His eyes snapped open when he felt something. His chakra was flowing into the ground. He closed his eyes and focused on it again, and he noticed some of the chakra sprouting from the ground. Opening his eyes again, Naruto saw something that shocked him. All around him, plants had sprouted from the ground. Oh, dear, Konoha, I'm so bored, Anko exclaimed, pouting as she sat at Naruto's poker table in his compound with Gaara, Misao, Mai, Kurenai and Kushina. They were currently playing poker, and Gaara was winning. And I'm beginning to believe that all Jinchuriki are natural-born gamblers. Gaara shrugged, and kept staring at his card, having a poker face that seemed to be carved from stone. If you're so bored, then why do you continue to play with us? Kurenai asked, while trying to see if Gaara was bluffing or not. She'd have more luck staring at a wall. Because I have nothing better to do, Anko said with a pout. I wish Naru-kun was here. He'll be back soon, Kushina said, smiling at her soon-to-be daughter-in-laws. He just has to establish contact with Jiraiya's spy network, and then, he'll return. But there are many gambling dens between the spies. It might take longer than anticipated. Mai said as she called Gaara, who remained as stoic as ever. Gaara, Misao whined, pouting. Why won't you react to anything? Because if I'd react to you rubbing my leg under the table, I'd lose my focus, Gaara spoke calmly, while the women in the room turned to Misao, who blushed. I just wanna win. Don't worry, Anko said with a grin. I do it, too. Not to me, Gaara said, and the others looked around, to see Mai and Kurenai blushing. Gaara finally showed emotion, and suffered from a massive nosebleed. Anko stared down at the now unconscious Gaara, and nodded to herself. Yep, he's out, she said with a grin, while the others worked on splitting up Gaara's chips. Near Kusa, Full House, Naruto spoke calmly as he showed his cards to the other three around the table in the gambling den. The others groaned and threw their cards onto the table, while Naruto, grinning like a Cheshire cat, raked in his chips. Another poker game won. The other players were smart enough not to play against Naruto, and headed over to the bar to drink their troubles away. 3 new players sat down, one of whom Naruto recognized. Toby, he exclaimed, pointing at the masked ninja, who chuckled. Oh, Naruto-kun, fancy seeing you here. I had no idea. Are you stalking me? Toby was quiet, seemingly staring at him, before shrugging. I don't know. Naruto's eye twitched, and Toby just chuckled. Come on now, Naruto-kun. You're the big blind. Naruto restrained himself from attacking Toby, and just settled for throwing in the blind. Some time later, after Naruto had wiped the floor with Toby and the other two, Naruto was walking through the gambling town, with Toby following him, enacting the climactic battle, starring Naruto the plushie, and Toby the plushie. Naruto-kun, you're so mean. Why did you have to steal all my money? He asked, obviously pouting, judging by his tone of voice. It's not my fault you're a lousy poker player, Naruto said as he glared at Toby. You're the one who decided to go all in the first round. Not my fault. Was too. Was not. Was too. Lazy blonde. Masked freak. Toby gasped, and grasped at his heart, staring at Naruto. Naruto almost groaned, thinking he was going to start crying. Then, to Naruto's surprise, Toby started laughing, loudly. That's a good one, Naruto-kun. He exclaimed, falling to his knees from the laughter. You know, in all my years wearing this mask, I have never once been called that. Naruto stared at the laughing form of Toby, and shook his head. He seemed to think that Naruto was joking, or something. Deciding not to bother with it, he walked away. -3 months later, Naruto stared up at the gates of Konoha, letting out a sigh of relief. Finally, no more Toby. The masked ninja had followed Naruto wherever he went, and bugged the hell out of him constantly. Naruto hardly even got to train his newfound wood element, due to that masked freak. He sighed and started walking, the guards at the gate saluting him when he passed. Now, he'd go to Tsunade, say hello, give his report, and then, he'd go home, and say hello to his fiancées, followed by hours upon hours of S using shadow clones. One thing he loved about his shadow clones was the fact that everything they experience during S gets transferred to him when they dispel. Thus, if he uses 5 clones, he'd be having S 6 times in one. A ill-ed chuckle escaped Naruto's lips, and he whipped out his fan to hide his now bleeding nose from the public as he fantasized about the things he'd do to his fiancées when he met him again. Later, a groggy Tsunade was awakened by a knocking on her door, and she yawned loudly. Come in. The door opened to reveal Naruto, who was grinning happily at her. Yo, Bar-chan, what's up? Naruto. Tsunade, sleepiness long gone, shot out of her chair and went around her desk, wrapping Naruto up in a death hug. After a few minutes of struggling on Naruto's part, Tsunade finally let him go, and let him give her his report. Connections with Ero Ajiji's spy network has been established. There was some reluctance, but when they read the scroll from Ero Ajiji, they realized that I really was his successor. Then, mission accomplished, Tsunade asked, and Naruto nodded. Good, then you may go home. Naruto nodded and got up, ready to go home and have S with his fiancées, when an explosion went off somewhere in Konoha. Naruto groaned unhappily, and pouted. I guess I won't be going home just yet. Go, Naruto, Tsunade exclaimed, and Naruto nodded unhappily, before vanishing. He reappeared near the center of Konoha, where a building, an ordinary apartment building by the looks of it, was on fire. The hell happened here? He asked, scratching his head as he saw ninjas and civilians coming out of the building, saving whoever they could. He was about to go help them, when he sensed something behind him, and quickly reached into his coat, pulling out his metal bow staff and extending it, before turning around, blocking a ninja too. Iwa, Naruto exclaimed when he saw the ninja in front of him wearing an Iwa Junin uniform. Not giving him the chance to speak, Naruto quickly said the sword away, and slammed the butt of his staff into the ninja's midsection, before spinning around and smacking him on the cheek, sending him flying. Strange. Naruto spun around, finding himself staring at Sarutobi, who was staring at the Iwa ninja, his eyes narrowed. We haven't detected a single chakra signature, apart from his. Some kind of distraction? Naruto asked, getting a shrug in response. We'll just have to ask him, won't we? Naruto chuckled. Anko-chan will definitely be happy. His eyes widened, and he patted Sarutobi on the back. I'll let you take care of him, sensei. I'm gonna see my family. Very well. Have fun, Naruto, Sarutobi said, and the blonde nodded, before vanishing. He appeared at the gates of the Namika's compound, and opened them, coming upon a peculiar sight. Guy was there. He was on the ground, beaten and bleeding. Standing above him was Lee, crying. Guy-sensei, talk to me. Wake up. Naruto was about to ask about it, when Kushina came running, wrapped in a towel. She pointed down at Guy, glaring at him. And don't you ever dare walk in on me in the shower again. Violent as ever, Naruto spoke calmly as he adjusted the scroll on his back, smiling. Kushina turned to him, and he waved. Hi, Mom. Immediately, Kushina forgot about Guy, and rushed over to Naruto, hugging him. Welcome back, Naruto. Thank you, Naruto said, hugging her back. Hey, where are my fiancés? In your house, sulking, like always, Kushina said, grinning. They're a little lonely without you. Well, I best go see them then, huh? Kushina nodded, and Naruto took off, just as Lee finally noticed that he'd returned. Yosh. Naruto-kun, your return must be celebrated. Lee was suddenly interrupted by a fist, courtesy of Kushina, who set him into the ground, right next to his teacher. Shut up. The next day, he was a tough nut to crack, but we managed, Tsunade said, sitting behind her desk. In front of her was Anko, Shizune, Naruto, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai and Sarutobi. Turned out he had a blocking seal on his tongue, to keep him from spilling any information. Of course, Jiraiya easily street USD and broke the seal, and after intensity, courtesy of everyone's lovable Snake Sanin, Anko blushed at the praise, we managed to find out that the man wasn't an Iwa ninja. Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow as he crossed his arms. Then where was he from? Konoha. What? Everyone stared at each other, seeing as everyone, save for Tsunade and Anko, had said the exact same thing. Naruto, however, was the first to snap out of his shock. Konoha. Who the F would dress up as an Iwa ninja and bomb a building in their own village? A root ninja, Anko said with a sigh. Apparently, Danzo wanted it to look like Iwa was attacking us. I guess he was hoping the agent would get ked, but things didn't work out the way he planned. We don't have any evidence anymore, though, Tsunade said, getting questioning looks from the others. The root SD immediately after he confessed, due to a seal located over his heart. So, we can't have Danzo arrested. What we can do, though, is do things his way. The ninjas in the office blinked a little, and Sarutobi was the first to catch on. Assassination. Hey, assassination, Naruto whispered, chuckling. Funny. The number of possible assassins was just lowered by 1, Tsunade said, glaring at Naruto, who shrugged. Plus, I need to have guards for the summit. Summit, Hokage-sama? Kakashi asked, getting a nod from Tsunade. A cage summit has been called, Tsunade said, making everyone's eyes widen. We're going to discuss an alliance. That's good, Naruto said, nodding. If the great nations are allied, they, with all of their allies, can make sure that there won't be another great ninja war. The third was enough, that's for sure, Jiraiya said, getting nods of agreement from those who fought in the war. There might finally be peace in the elemental countries, Tsunade said with a smile. And it's all thanks to Naruto. Everyone turned to the blonde, who'd been getting some dirt out of his nails with a kunai. He looked up and stared at the others. What did I do? You defeated the Akatsuki by yourself, Naruto, Tsunade said, standing up. None of the great nations wants to face another yellow flash. So, they requested an alliance. Now, I'm going to need 2 escorts. Naruto is a given, but the other, Tsunade interrupted herself and pointed at Jiraiya, who'd just been about to speak up. Not you. I think Kakashi-san should come as the second escort. The others looked at him, and he explained. Kakashi-san is probably one of the 3 strongest active Junin in the village. It would leave one hell of an impression, wouldn't it? The card shark and Sharingan no Kakashi. Besides, Anko, Shizune, and probably even Ero Ajiji needs to be here for the Danzo assassination. Tsunade nodded. That sounds good. Kurenai, Asuma, she said, looking at the 2 Junins. Are there any genins you would like to nominate to the Chunin exams in a week? Kiba and Hinata. Ino, Asuma said, getting a nod from Tsunade. That's it for now. Anko, be here tomorrow at 1100 hours. Naruto and Kakashi, be here at 1400 hours. Roger, everyone said in unison, before leaving the office. The next day, Kakashi, Naruto and Tsunade were at the gates, with pretty much every single ninja seeing them off. In the front was the Shinobi Council. In front of them was the Konoha elders, Koharu and Homura. Naruto, Kakashi, Homura said, getting the attention of the 2 lazy ninjas. We're entrusting Tsunade Haime's life to you 2. Please don't fail. Don't worry, elder, Naruto said, grinning as he flicked open his fan. My head will have to be cut off before I allow a Bar-chan to even get scratched. It's a promise. We'll do our best, elder, Kakashi said, giving an eye smile. Tsunade Haime, Homura said and nodded to the Hokage. Good luck at the summit. Tsunade nodded, putting on her Hokage hat, and walking off, Naruto and Kakashi close behind. I just thought of something, Naruto said as he fanned himself. Tsunade looked at him, urging him to go on. Since you became Hokage, this is, like, the first time you ever put on that hat. That's true, Kakashi said with a nod. I've never seen you wear it, except for when you accepted the position. It's uncomfortable, Tsunade said with a grunt as she adjusted the hat on her head. I'd prefer it if we just had to wear, like, an armband, or something. That'd be simpler, Naruto said with a nod. But it'd leave less of an impression. The trip to the Land of Iron was uneventful. There was one time when a group of bandits tried to attack them, but the sheer power the three ninjas radiated told them that would be a bad idea. Wisely, they chose to back off. The Land of Iron was a small, neutral land formed by three mountains called the Three Wolves. It maintained a unique culture and strong military, which used samurai for protection. Ninja villagers respected their neutrality and did not challenge their force. Their neutrality made them a good location for the cage summit called by the Raikage. At the border of the Land of Iron, Toby stood, along with Orochimaru, who glanced at him. So, all I have to do is go in there, and get you the QB brat. Do that, and I'll stop hunting you, Toby said with a nod. I'm strong, but facing the 5 cages is S. I'll get Ked for sure, Orochimaru said, getting a chuckle from Toby, who released some strong ki. What do you think will happen if you don't do it? He asked, still chuckling. Worry about me, Orochimaru. Orochimaru sighed, before melting into the ground. Meanwhile, Tsunade, Naruto and Kakashi entered the building, where they would be meeting the other cages. Tsunade nodded, and Naruto and Kakashi headed up a set of stairs, while Tsunade entered a round room. Naruto and Kakashi came out on the floor above the room, where there was a stand overlooking the meeting room. Looking around, Naruto saw Baki and Kankuro, ninjas from Suna. He also saw 2 Iwa ninjas, one incredibly fat, and the other a rather cute woman. The Kiri escorts were a large man, obviously a 10-year veteran, at least. Most likely closer to 20. The other was someone Naruto recognized as a member of the 7 Swordsmen, 6th rank Chujuro. He was ranked 6th because, though he was scared, he lacked confidence. Upon closer inspection, the other Kiri ninja was a man named Ao. That eye patch was a bit of a mystery, and not even Jiraiya's spy network could find out what was under it. There was also a rumor that he had battled Uchiha Shisui at one time. Whether he won or not was unknown. The 2 Kumo escorts were nothing to talk about. One of them looked extremely normal, which was strange for a ninja, and the other one looked kinda like the Kumo equivalent of Shikamaru, droopy and lazy looking. Naruto remembered something, and grinned, reaching into his pocket, taking out a fistful of rings. Kakashi raised an eyebrow as he watched Naruto put them on, and his eye widened when he saw what they were. Akatsuki rings. 9 of them. He wore one of each finger, save for his left little finger. This'll leave more of an impression, won't it? Naruto asked with a grin as he showed off the rings. Kakashi was about to respond, when someone spoke down in the meeting room. Place your hats on the table. The 2 Konoha ninjas looked down, finding all the cages sitting at a C-shaped table, with a man in front of them, his head wrapped in bandages. The Raikage was a huge man, muscled and dark-skinned, with his platinum hair tied into cornrows. The Tsuchikage was a short, bald old man with thick eyebrows, and very small eyes. The Mizukage was one of the most beautiful women Naruto had ever seen, with long, brown hair that reached down to her lower back. Her right eye was covered by her hair, and Naruto could swear he could feel the red blush coming from Kakashi. The Kazekage made Naruto raise an eyebrow. Temari, Gaara's sister, was sitting in the Kazekage's chair. My name is Mifune. I will be your moderator, the man with the bandages said, a no-nonsense look on his face. The meeting will now begin. I'll go first, Temari said. Listen up. The makeup of the 5 cages sure has changed. You must be something special to be made Kazekage at your age, the Tsuchikage said, staring hard at Temari. Your father must have taught you right, but apparently, he forgot to instill in you any manners. I guess. That's why I'm here as Kazekage, Temari said, getting a loud laugh from the Tsuchikage. Ha! Cheeky brat. Tsuchikage, please stop interrupting, the Mizukage said, and turned to Temari. Kazekage, please continue. My brother is a host. Akatsuki nearly captured a year ago, trying to extract the beast, Temari explained, resting her chin against her hands. That's why I believe Akatsuki is extremely dangerous. What's that about? Naruto asked, getting a shrug from Kakashi. That happened before Gaara came to Konoha. Well, it was the reason why he moved to Konoha. I requested aid from the other cages many times, but they all ignored me, Temari continued. Except for Hokage Dono. Though at this point, with so many hosts captured, it's too late for aid. HMPH. If a country had its host captured, it has no business giving other countries orders. It's an embarrassment, Tsuchikage said, glaring at the cages. You should have tried to recover it in secret. Once it's stolen, you can't expect other countries to help you. Appearance. Honor. I don't have time for that ridiculous, old-fashioned thinking. Suddenly, everyone in the stands perked up, when the Raikage raised his fist. At once, all of them blurred down in front of the cage, who slammed his fist into the table, breaking it. Quit your yapping. X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.